Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be how the narcissist overplays their hand. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So overplaying your hand, what does that mean? It usually means that you are pushing too far and you're pushing till something breaks or something gives out. And when you overplay your hand and when you are the narcissist, this happens over and over and over again because the narcissist wants to disrupt people's energy. They want to break relationships. They want people to believe in the mask, and they want to be able to go on to new sources of supply and act like the old source of supply doesn't even exist or matter. This is how the cycle goes around and around and around and around. The narcissist cannot change. They are trapped in the cycle. They overplay their hand so frequently, and sometimes they do it and they don't even know it. Sometimes they do it on purpose, which means there are many times when the relationship will end, the narcissist will know that they've taken as much from you as they possibly can. So at times they will discard people. That means crumble them up like a sheet of paper, throw them away in the freeway, and not give them any closure, and actually not even do anything positive for them because the narcissist wants you to be stuck. They want you pining for them, etc. Well, that's one part. The other part is many times the narcissist will have the person who was in the relationship actually end the relationship themselves. That would be called the reverse discard at times. And what that means is the narcissist will make you so frustrated and you'll have reached the breaking point that maybe you end it with the narcissist. And that's what they wanted the whole time, because they wanted to play the victim card with the new supply and say that you were the bad person, you ended it, etc. You see, in the narcissistic abusive relationship and cycle, there are so many different nuances. There are so many different layers of the onion that need to be peeled back. It is very, very challenging for people who haven't experienced the narcissistic abusive cycle firsthand to wrap their head around that people like this actually exist. And the facts are that, yes, they do exist, because the narcissist always overplays their hand. Think when you were in the relationship with them. Think of all the toxicity you experienced, all the verbal abuse, all of the financial abuse, perhaps physical abuse, emotional abuse. Think of all the nights when you were at home waiting and wondering where the narcissist was. Think of all the times you would text the narcissist and they would leave you on hold. Perhaps they would read the message but claim that they didn't have cell phone service, or that they claimed that they sent the message but it mysteriously didn't get sent, because the narcissist was always pushing you. They were pushing you to your breaking point. They knew that something in you would give eventually, or they knew that they would take as much from you as they possibly could, and that they could reveal the mask and show you who they really are and how much disdain they have for you, how much they don't care about you and virtually don't care about anybody. Keep in mind, back when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you did not know what narcissism was, because you probably just thought it was somebody looking at themselves in the mirror, thinking that they are the most handsome or beautiful person on the planet. Well, that's one aspect of narcissism, but that's not what really narcissism is. What narcissism is a person, many times, who is acting like they are kind, loving, stable, healthy, committed, driven, and dedicated to a relationship, and they're nothing but the opposite. They're a person who is trying to break the relationship, a person who is trying to push the bounds of that person that was in the relationship with them. And the narcissist knows what they're doing. They know exactly how to exit a relationship. They know on how to place a person in the trauma bond, which most likely that's where the new supply is. And they know how to twist the knife into people when the discard takes place, because the cycle is a loop. It just goes around and around, like I mentioned. The one constant in the loop is the narcissist. Now, you were trapped in that relationship for a period of time. You were existing in the devaluation stage. You did not know what you were up against. You did not know what gaslighting was back then. You didn't know what blame shifting was. You didn't know what triangulation was. You didn't know what object constancy was. You did not know what mirroring was, or projection, or the smear campaign. You certainly didn't know that. And now you're learning all of these definitions. You're putting two and two together, and you're understanding that, yes, the narcissist did overplay their hand with you. Let's zoom out for a minute. Think about the things you did for the narcissist when you were in the relationship with them. Did you put a roof over their head? Maybe. Did you pay bills for them? I'm almost certain you did. Did you create children with them and try to raise the kids as best as you possibly could have? Maybe. Did you go into business with the narcissist? Possibly. Did you introduce them to your friends and your neighbors and colleagues and your immediate family members? Probably. Did you introduce them to hobby groups and or friend groups that you had? Maybe, example, you like to go skiing or swimming or surfing or something. You probably did that too. And when you showed the narcissist all these avenues about you and your life and you wanted and all the things that made you you, the narcissist was taking mental notes about you and what made you tick, about your resources, about your support system, etc. And what they were doing is they were insidiously trying to get closer to you and to break these relationships with you and those loved and trusted ones around you. And they certainly wanted to disrupt your hobbies that you would be participating in. And they did not want you to have the money that you had in your bank account when you first met them. And the reasons why for these things are because the narcissist needs to take, and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. The narcissist has an insatiable quench for resources and for people and for anything they can get their hands on, because the narcissist is shallow and hollow at their core. They do not want to work for things many times. What they want to do is take what other people have. They want to keep people trapped in that narcissistic abusive cycle. They want to keep people trapped in the narcissistic fog. And many times it is very challenging to escape the narcissistic fog. That's when you're being devalued day in and day out. When you're trying to escape that and you don't have the wisdom on the narcissistic cycle, it's very challenging to say the least, because you don't have the keys. You don't have that needle in a haystack. You don't know what you are up against. What you do know is you are having sleepless nights. You know that you're tolerating poor behavior. You are experiencing poor behavior, and it seems to be getting worse. And the narcissist perhaps is not even around you nearly as much as they used to be, because they most likely are spending time with the new supply or traveling and claiming that they are stuck on the road, or they have to go on a business trip for a week or two, or they're visiting a long lost uncle who they haven't talked to in 10 years, etc. The narcissist will paint any narrative the way they want to and get people to believe in not only the mask, but in the smear campaign and to anything that they want people to believe about you. And that's what they were doing when they first met you. That's what they were doing when you were in the relationship with them. And possibly that could be what they're doing with you if the relationship ended recently and you are experiencing the smear campaign. Now, for those of us who have healed, the relationship has ended years ago, and we have healed and we put ourselves back together. We understand many things. One thing is the smear campaign, let it burn itself out, because the people that drink the secret sauce of the narcissist about the smear campaign, many of those people are toxic themselves. Many people find out that what the narcissist said about you wasn't true. And many other people by now don't even care about what happened way back then, because there's other drama going on in people's lives. And unfortunately, many people like drama. Personally, I don't, but many people do. And the narcissist is at the top of that list. So an example would be, let's say you did get discarded 3, 4, 5 years ago, as an example. Well, you had to put yourself back together, and you did, because you're in the community and you're on the channel. But you didn't give the smear campaign any of your words or any explanation. That was the path. That was the right thing to do, because if you were feeding the flames of the smear campaign, then now you were giving it some life. If you go radio silent and you do not say one thing about the smear campaign, you just let those people do whatever they're going to do, they eventually burn themselves out. And then what happens, as I'm mentioning here, is the narcissist inevitably will enter another relationship, and that relationship will break. Why? Because the narcissist needs to overplay their hand in that relationship, and all those flying monkeys and enablers, or maybe even immediate family members that surrounded themselves with the narcissist, they will see another failed relationship. Again, what's the common denominator in all these failed relationships? It's the narcissist. It wasn't you. That's why the narcissist has multiple sources of supply throughout their lives. And this is not exclusive to romantic interests. It's with friends and colleagues and coworkers, etc., neighbors, people in communities and hobby groups, because the narcissist moves through life under cloak and dagger, and they wear a mask that is super glued tight to their face for certain individuals to see. And then when they break that relationship, or they exit it, or they don't see that person for a period of time, they don't have to wear that mask. That's why the narcissist needs to be regulated, because they can't regulate themselves, because they're living a false life. They have hundreds, if not thousands, of masks that they have to try on each and every day to appease certain people. That's why the narcissist is anxiety riddled. That's why they need their smartphones. That's why they need supply left, right, and center. That's why when people figure them out and they go no contact and block the narcissist, It's the path for the person. But that does damage to the narcissist, because the narcissist will be checking to see if you've blocked them. And if you have, my heart goes out to you. That's a great move. It's a power move. You need to be in control of your life and who you can communicate with and who you don't. But if you haven't gone no contact yet, consider doing it. If not now, when? But you see, when the narcissist realizes that you went no contact and you block them, then they're going to say, wait a minute, what's going on? I thought they were going to be playing the game longer with me. I thought I was going to be able to manipulate them longer. I thought I was going to be able to get them to go back into one more round of the relationship. And no, that's not what happens when we finally get that light bulb moment and we say, no, I'm going no contact. I'm blocking these people because they keep on overplaying their hand, and I am the one who left holding the bag. I am the one paying the price. The narcissist was just laughing at me. They were looking at my empathy as weakness. They were looking at my love as weakness. They were looking at me and everything about me, including my tears and my emotions, as weak. But the truth of the matter is, we, the empaths, are the strong ones. That's why the narcissist needs people that have high level of empathy. They need people to use, abuse, and manipulate, because the narcissist at their core, they have no empathy, they can't love, they're just a shallow creature. And they know this. That is why they wore a mask, to manipulate you. Bear in mind, when you were in the relationship, how many times you experienced rage fits or verbal abuse, or you were being gaslit like I shared. These are all ways the narcissist is not only trying to break the relationship, but they're overplaying their hand, because they're seeing how much you will tolerate. They are trying to test the waters of that relationship, and essentially of you, to see how strong you are. Would you cave in? Would you be able to last longer in that relationship? The length of your relationship, I can't tell you how long it was, but I can assure you one thing. If it was 1 minute, it was 1 minute too long. Play that again. The reason why I'm sharing all these things with you is because each and every one of us in the community have gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle. Many of us have healed. We've reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. Many of us are on the way getting there or heading there. Some of us are just taking our first step on the journey towards healing. No matter where you are on the healing path, it is my hope that you are taking the proper steps necessary to insulate yourself and to understand that that relationship was not your fault. You did everything you could do and more to build that relationship, to maintain it, to strengthen it, to have it be the best relationship it could have been in your eyes. And that's what you did. But the narcissist was not doing that. They were toying with you. They were manipulating you. They were lying to you. They were instilling the smear campaign with you. They would tell you that they would do A, B, and C, and they would do X, Y, and Z, because the relationship that you were part of with them, they looked at you as a pawn and a puppet. They looked at you as somebody they could manipulate, because they were always testing that relationship with you, but they always overplay their hand. Now think about this one before I close the video. I shared this sometimes in videos at the end. A hoover is something when the narcissist is trying to draw you back into the relationship, maybe for a day, a week, a month, a year, the rest of your life, who knows? But a hoover is not something you want to accept, because if you accept a hoover from the narcissist, you are telling them that you haven't healed yet, or you're not strong enough to say no, which is the strongest word in the English language. And many people that accept the hoover, they get the message. Sometimes the people go back to the narcissist 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times until they finally get strong enough to say, I can't do this anymore. It's the same old broken record going around and around, and every time it ends, I get discarded and it hurts more and more and more. That is why you do not accept a hoover. But what is a hoover? A hoover is when the narcissist is weak themselves, and they are trying to test the waters to see if you have healed and if you've gone no contact and become strong enough yet. That is why the narcissist needs people, and they need viable grade A sources of supply, beautiful empaths, if you will. They needed you, but they don't need you now. That is why once you've healed, you can't unsee what you've seen. The narcissist took it one step too far, and that relationship broke whenever it broke. Maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was 5 years ago, maybe it was 10 years ago. But whenever that relationship broke, the narcissist didn't feel sorry for you or anything. They just went on to the new supply, and they wanted to inflict as much damage upon you as possible. But what did you do? You had to heal. You slowed your life down. You took stock of your support network and all the people you surrounded yourself with, and you learned all about narcissism. That's why you put yourself back together, and now you have boundaries, and now you are not a people pleaser, etc. That is why we go forward. We do not do anything to place ourselves back in the past in the narcissistic relationship. We live in the present moment. We do not predict the future, and we take the lifelong learning lessons from the past and apply them in present day, because we now understand that the narcissist was always overplaying their hand, and they always will overplay their hand. So before I close the video, You could have had all the money in the world. You could have owned your own country. You could have been the most beautiful person on the planet. You could have had anything imaginable, and it would never have been enough for the narcissist. They know it, I know it, and now you know it, because the narcissist always needs what they can't have. That's why they're always looking for the next new shiny object, which at one point was you, and it certainly was me. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. God bless you. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember this, the narcissist, they break relationships on purpose. They always overplay their hand. They can't introspect. They won't apologize. They're not sorry for what they did. This is how they're stuck in the cycle. But that cycle is the same cycle that you are now out of, and you will be out of for the rest of your life. God bless you. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.